Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Window Shopping. This is where we talk about kind of a cool architectural home. And I'm super excited today because, number one, we've been away a little while. And part of that's because not a lot of people will put homes on the market between Christmas and New Year. It's a little bit of a dead zone. Most people wait until that first week after New Year's Day. But also, I'm excited because today we're talking about Cliff May home in Long Beach. Those of you who have been watching a while, I think I've mentioned this before, will know or remember that I used to own a Cliff May home in Tustin. And one of the things that's super cool to me about Cliff May homes is that I feel like Cliff May homes are kind of like a classic Ford Mustang, right? They made a fair number of them, right? They're around, and people kind of put their own. It's a very iconic classic design, but people kind of do their own interpretation. They do their own upgrades, and they kind of have their own little bit of a vision. And there's a home that came up for sale in Long Beach that I think is kind of cool to feature because this really, I think it solves some of the typical, Cliff May problems. So the number one complaint that we get from clients, number one complaint on Cliff May homes is that they are too small. And you have to remember that when these homes were built in the mid 1950s, the fact that Cliff May homes frequently had 2 bathrooms was a really big deal. That was a huge luxury in a lot of the markets that Cliff May homes were built in. So having homes that were between 1,150 to say 1,375, 1,400 square feet, depending on the model, those were good sized homes in that era. But today, and especially given some of the prices that they're commanding, a lot of people think they're just not quite big enough. So this is a home that's had some addition work done on it. And I think it's actually added a bit to the functionality of the house. So I want to take you through and kind of show you what I think is really a great renovation on one of these homes. So we're going to go ahead and open that up here. So we're talking about 7213 East Lanai Street in Long Beach. This isn't our listing. It's listed by Kelsea Mazzocco of First Team Real Estate, but really, as a buyer, you deserve your own representation, and we would absolutely love to represent you if you were interested and would like to see this home, or any other mid-century modern home, or architectural home for that matter. So what they've done is, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath model, and I believe this was either the 1100 and change or the 1200 and change model when it was built in 1953. So it's one of the earlier phase houses. And with enlarging it is now 1,851 square feet. And what they've done is they've done a large addition, a couple of small little bump outs, and then they've converted half the garage to living space. So I'm going to kind of take you through and I'll identify those spots when we go in there. So one of the things you notice about Cliff May homes at the outset is that you don't see a lot from the front. And this is actually by design. One of the things that Cliff May believed was that you wanted to maximize these outdoor living spaces and that having some privacy was part of that. So you'll see, especially in the Ranchos neighborhood, the homes tend to be a little bit more closed off from the street, and that was very much part of the design. So here you see the bulk of the backyard area. And what you have here, what you're really seeing here is kind of a great use of outdoor space. We actually have some entertaining space. And I'm a big fan of outdoor space actually being useful, and it isn't always useful. You can also spot, a bit of an addition that was also done in this area back here. So I'm going to take you through that when we head inside. So if you look here, you're kind of looking, you've got a front yard area, there's a backyard area, and you've got a garage down here at the back of the property. Walking in the front door, this area is actually an addition that you're seeing. It has a low ceiling. Every room in a Cliff May home has vaulted ceilings if it is unaltered. And that's just kind of one of the things that the architect designed, was why waste money on lowering the ceilings. The hallways are actually the only area that does not have a raised ceiling. Back here, you notice you've got some kind of bedrooms and things. They've actually done a bit of a nice upgrade. So this is a kind of a living room, dining room area, but because they've done this addition, it's not the main area. Also, one of the other ways you can tell that this is an early phase Cliff May is by the ceilings. The later phase Cliff Mays in the Long Beach Ranchers neighborhood actually have a Celotex material on the ceiling, not this tongue and groove wood. So you see, this was the original main living space, kitchen area, and it was all pretty open. They've opened this up a little bit further, but these were always open-aired homes, especially for the time period. You have kind of an extension of the kitchen over here, which is a little bit different. And the reason why they've reclaimed some of the space is originally when this house was built, this was all of the space that you got in the main living area. But because they've added a secondary living room, what that's done is that's let them make the kitchen a bit bigger. See how it straddles both sides here? That wasn't originally the case. Originally in this home, the kitchen was really off to one side of the house. This was originally a closet. So this is kind of looking back at that big front area. Here we've got kind of the other side of that kitchen. Really a nice remodel. I think they've done what I think is kind of a warm modern take. I'm a big fan of the warm modern look. We've got an integrated microwave, wine rack. This is the original fireplace. And then you're looking into this entryway area here, which kind of bridges the addition from the original space to the house. So we're going to go ahead through that. This is one of the secondary bedrooms. They're not huge. They're, I think, just under 10 by 10, but with the vaulted ceilings and the glass, they actually feel a lot bigger than they are. Another one of these secondary bedrooms. You can check them out here. This bathroom is kind of unique. There was originally a window here, but because of the addition, it's been closed off. They actually did full tiling in here. I think it kind of makes it a fun enclosed space. This is that secondary living room that I was talking about. And what this does is it just enables you to make that main area not try to fit so much into it. Again, that was always a big complaint in the Cliff Maze, is that, it always felt like 1,100 square feet and change was just not enough. It just wasn't enough space. And this is really a great layout. They don't have a TV in here, but I don't think it'd be too hard to place one. And then you've also got French doors leading outside to that backyard space. And then back here is the largest bedroom. And they've kind of changed around the entrance to this bedroom a little bit, which makes it a little bit more functional. You can see it's really a pretty decent amount of space in here. This bedroom also has French doors which lead outside, which is pretty cool, as well as a pretty decently sized bathroom. I think this bathroom has been extended just a little bit under the eaves. And you can see, again, the French doors leading into that secondary living room, as well as this, primary bedroom. They've also converted half of the garage, which is what I think you're looking at here, into kind of an office space. And that solves another problem of the 3-bedroom Cliff Maze, is that people really want at least one extra space and they don't know how to get it. You can see a bump out here that was done in this space here. Bar area outside. This is, again, that main entertaining area in the backyard, outdoor dining area, which is covered. We've got some bamboo growing. I'm really a fan when I see these houses really kind of done all the way. Like, they've really thought about how somebody would live in this. Outdoor kitchen, kind of a fun little space back here. And then this is kind of that front space that you really see from the front of the house. It's kind of a covered patio space. And then we also have a laundry room as well, which is another complaint on the Cliff Maze. I'm going to fast forward here to an overhead view because I can show you a little bit about what's going on. So this garage back here is original, but what they've done is they've converted this half to be living space. This is that bedroom or that living room addition that we've talked about. And then this really is the main house. Through here, we have a little bit of a bump out here, and then that primary bedroom is back here. So when we're looking through those 2 French doors, we're standing in this backyard space. You also have this front yard space. So, on paper, this isn't a big lot. It's like, I think, 5,400 square feet. But because of the space, the way they've utilized this, you actually have zones that get used for various functions. And that really kind of goes to the Cliff Maze ethos, right? Is this idea that the separation between your outdoor spaces and your indoor spaces should be minimal if possible. You really want to expand the house out onto the lot. And when you do that, you actually find that, in this case, 1,850 square feet plus 2 main outdoor areas, the second of which is pretty big and divided into its own multiple zones, that really all of your functions are actually covered. So, when you look at Cliff May homes, a lot of times your brain does a little bit of a double take, right? You think, well, here's the square footage of the house, here's the square footage of the lot. It should be way too small. And it actually feels a lot bigger than it is. And by adding that second living room, they've really increased the functionality of the indoor space as well. If you're interested in seeing this house on Lanai Street, this Cliff May in the Ranchos in Long Beach, definitely let us know. We'd be happy to accommodate that for you. Or if you are just into other cool architectural homes, we can help you with that as well. If you're not receiving our weekly architectural email, you should be. There's a link to the sign up down below in the YouTube description. So take a look at that. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Questions, comments, always, we love them. Happy 2022, everybody. We're glad to have you with us.